Hello and welcome to Avyan IAS Academy. Today we'll be doing one more part from our Back to Basic series, that's phrases. So first let us understand what is a phrase. A phrase is a group of words that makes sense. A phrase, alternatively, we can say is could be the smallest meaningful unit in a sentence. So, how is a phrase different from a sentence? A sentence is something that stands with a complete meaning in itself. However, for a phrase, it might or it might not stand independently. For example, in a sentence, if we have, he was a man of great power. So this is a complete sentence that we have. He was a man of great power. Now in this sentence, if we divide the sentence into two parts, he was a man, that's one part of the sentence, and the man had great power. So that's the other part of the sentence. So of great power, this part, man of great power, this part we could classify it as a phrase, because this is a part of the sentence which is making a meaning in itself. However, there is something which is different in a phrase and a sentence. In a phrase, we will not have all the parts that is needed to make a sentence. In a sentence, we have a subject, a predicate, a noun, verb, all the things are there. However, in a phrase, what we have is we make a meaningful unit in the sentence. However, it is never a complete independent sentence in itself, and neither is it a clause. The primary difference between a phrase and a clause is, in a clause, what happens in a clause is it will stand independently. However, a phrase may not be able to, and usually is not able to, stand independently. I am saying repeatedly, it is a meaningful part in the sentence. However, it is never a complete sentence. But in a clause, we'll take up clause in the next class, and in the clause we'll have parts of the sentence which can make meanings in itself, and they are independent in their own nature. So let us now look at the types of phrases that we have. Today we'll be specifically dealing with three types of clauses. The primary three types of, there are also other nature of clauses, but today we'll be dealing with the primary three nature of clauses. The first is adjective phrase, adverb phrase, and noun phrase. So first we'll take up the adjective phrase. What is an adjective? An adjective, as we have done earlier, adjective is a word that defines. So what does an defines or describes? So what does an adjective describe? An adjective describes a noun. That is the primary function of an adjective. So now we'll look at how an adjective is different from an adjective phrase. For example, if we say good, bad, wealthy, healthy, all these are adjectives. We can say a healthy boy, a wealthy man, a good girl, a bad man. So these are words which will be describing a noun. Now, if we want to use these words in a phrase, how will we use them? For example, if we say he was a wealthy man. So here wealthy is the adjective. He was a wealthy man. What kind of a man is he? The man is being defined by his wealth. So now if we want to transform this sentence into a phrase having a sentence having an adjective phrase, how will we transform them? We can say he was a man of great wealth. So now remember, when we are trying to transform the sentences or try to write a sentence in different kind of phrases, the idea of the sentence should never change. So the meaning of the sentence still remain the same. We are saying he was a man of great wealth. Wealthy has been replaced with man of great wealth. So when we are saying man of great wealth, this sentence, in this part of the sentence is the phrase, and this does have an independent meaning in itself. However, this is still not a complete sentence, and that is why it's a phrase, and that is its primary difference with the sentence and the phrase, and that is what we have been trying to say. So let us look at a few more examples. The magistrate was a kind man. Okay, so what kind of a man is the magistrate? The magistrate is a kind man. Now, if we have to transform this into a adjective phrase, we can say the magistrate was a man of kindly nature. So, man of kindly nature. So, we have successfully replaced kind as man of kindly nature. So, this again is an independent meaning in itself. However, it is not a complete sentence. So, now let us look at a few more examples of how we can write adjective phrases in our sentences. What is the use of a phrase in a sentence as such? Why do we have to make it so? Because it's the colloquial way of writing. It makes your writing much more standardized, and it makes a writing much more aligned to the basic standard forms of English. Now let us look at few more sentence. Example, he was living in a wooden house. So now how will we replace this word wooden? We will say he was living in a house made of wood. So we have successfully replaced wooden with a house made of. Wooden has been replaced as made of wood. So this is the part of the phrase. It has a meaning in itself. However, it cannot stand independently outside a sentence. So variously we can say a golden crown, which can be replaced as a crown made of gold. The red color, if we want to say it's reddish in color, we can say it is colored in red. If you want to say black, we can say it is black in color. So these are the ways we can try and create adjective phrases from the adjective. Now let us look at the second part of what are the phrases. That is, the second phrase that we will be looking at is the adverb phrase. So what are adverb phrases? First, let us try and understand what an adverb is. An adverb is a word that defines a verb. What is an adverb? It's a word describing or defining a verb. Now we'll see how we can use the same in the sentence. For example, if we say he ran fast. So the ran is being described with the word fast. As we know that adjectives are usually placed before the noun. Usually, they could also, usually, that's the basic protocol. However, we can place it after also, generally. However, in an adverb, it is generally placed after the verb. So if we have to say he ran fast, and if we have to replace this and make an adjective, an adverb phrase, we can say he ran in a fast manner, or we can say a manner that was fast. Or a little away from it, we can say with great speed. So we have different way of saying one sentence. However, we have to always, as I said, we have to keep in mind that the meaning of the sentence remains the same. We are just replacing one word with a group of words, however, where the meaning remains the same. So now let us look at a few more examples. Okay. For example, if we say, she sweetly or politely declined my request. So how will we now replace the word sweetly or politely in the next sentence, where we will use, instead of an adverb, we'll use an adverb phrase. So we can say, she refused or she declined my request in a sweet manner or polite manner. So we are replacing sweetly or politely, which was one of the words, as in a group of words, which is in a sweet manner or in a polite manner. Okay, so now we'll look at a few more examples. However, always remember that a phrase is never complete in its meaning itself. That is, if something is complete in its meaning in itself, that is a clause, which we will take up in our next class. So if we look at a few more examples, we can say, he answered rudely. We can say, he answered in a rude manner, right? So this rudely has been replaced with in a rude manner. So one word has been replaced with a group of words. Okay. Now if we say, he is coming now, how can we say that? We can say, he is coming at this moment. Now has been replaced with at this moment. If we say, he fell down, we'll replace this as, he fell to the ground. Down has been replaced with fell to the ground. So this part was a bit tricky. He fell down, it is replaced as he fell to the ground, or he rose up. We can say he went up through the ladder, he went up to any place. It's just that up is replaced by he went up somewhere. Alright, now we'll look at the third part of the phrase, which is the noun phrase. So what is a noun? A noun is one of the primary or the basic parts of speech. Now how do we use the noun in form of a noun phrase? a noun phrase would be, for example, if we say the boy wanted to do something. So in this sentence, noun phrase is even more basic than the adjective and the adverb phrase, because there we are trying to replace the words. However, we are trying to replace an adverb or an adjective. However, here, wanted to do something, this itself is your noun phrase. This is a noun phrase because the boy is a subject, and what the subject wants to do is the action. So that's the noun phrase. The boy wanted to do something, so that is the noun phrase. The other now let us look at a few other examples. Next is, he wants to go home. So what does he wants is to go home. So this part is again a noun phrase in the sentence. Now let us look how we can use the noun phrase. For example, if we say he hopes to win the first prize. So what is he hoping? He is hoping to win the first prize. So our noun phrase is the first prize. Next is, he loves to take a ride in the boat. So this has the object part of it. What does he love? He loves to take a ride in the boat. So that's how we, we can also talk about proverbs like early to bed, early to rise is a maxim. So what is a maxim? It's early to bed and early to rise. We can say that early to bed is the maxim or the noun or something that we should practice. So we talked about 3 kinds of phrases today. First we discussed, so let's quickly see what we had discussed, which are, what is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words which carries meaning in itself. However, they are not independent in itself. They are certainly meaningful parts in the sentence. However, they are not complete. They are complete but not independent in themselves, and that is their primary difference with the clause. In a sentence, a part of we can say the smallest meaningful part in the sentence could be a phrase. So then we did the 3 types of phrases. What were the 3 types of phrases? They were the adjective phrase, the adverb phrase, and the noun phrase. What is the now? Next is, what were the function of the phrases? An adjective phrase is usually used to define a noun. Just the way we are describing an adjective, instead of an adjective, we can replace it with an adjective phrase. However, it means that we are just, instead of using one word, we are using a group of words. Similarly, for adverb, we are using a group of words instead of one word. And in the noun phrase, we are also using a group of words to explain what the subject wants to do or wants to go. For example, his father wished him to speak to the headmaster. So what does the father wants is for the boy to speak to the headmaster. So that is the part of the noun phrase. So for example, you can just say, I want to, you can fill the sentence up as, I want to go to the school. So then part of the phrase is, I want to, where do I want to go? To the school. So that part is my phrase. So this was all for today in phrases. We'll meet in the next class with clauses. Thank you.